أهلا بكم مشاهدي أخبار الآن. نتابع وإياكم مجريات الحرب في أوكرانيا. للحديث عن هذه التطورات معنا مباشرة من بروكسل النائب في البرلمان البلجيكي سامويل كوغولاتي. سيد سامويل، بداية أهلا بك في أخبار الآن. أنت منخرط تماما في التطورات التي تجري في أوكرانيا ودائما ما تقف إلى جانب الشعب الأوكراني. في البداية سؤالي الأول لك هو: كيف يمكن وصف ما يجري في أوكرانيا، أو بالأحرى ماذا يمكن أن تقول عما تقوم به روسيا في أوكرانيا؟
Well, this is a blatant violation of international law. I have condemned this very critically as a crime of aggression, as a violation of Article 2, Paragraph 4 of the UN Charter, which prohibits the use or even the threat of unilateral military force. And this is really what is happening. This is an unprovoked, totally unjustified attack, unilateral attack by means of military force against innocent Ukrainian people.
سامويل، يعني بلجيكا هي جزء مهم في الاتحاد الأوروبي. هل هناك من خطة ربما لضم أوكرانيا بأسرع وقت ممكن إلى هذا الاتحاد، ليكون ذلك ربما ردا سريعا على ما تقوم به روسيا في أوكرانيا؟
The accords of partnership with Ukraine, Moldova, and Georgia since 2014, I believe that there is indeed a strong case to work towards the accession of Ukraine to the EU. But I would say that the first priority right now is to end the war, to end the civilian casualties. It is not yet to speak about, EU accession. I think it is really important right now to make very clear to the Russian leader, Vladimir Putin, that this needs to stop. This is enough. We need to see a ceasefire immediately on the ground, in the air, and by sea. We need to protect civilians against those attacks.
سامويل، بما أنك تحدثت عن ضرورة حماية المدنيين اليوم وتسهيل خروجهم من أوكرانيا إلى الدول الأوروبية المجاورة، هل يمكن القول أن أوروبا اليوم تعلمت من الدروس السابقة فيما يخص أزمات اللجوء، لا سيما من الدول التي كانت تشهد حروبا، سوريا ومؤخرا أفغانستان بعد عودة طالبان؟ هل تعلمت أوروبا من هذا الدرس وهي تقوم بشكل أفضل اليوم بالاستجابة لأزمة اللاجئين إلى دول أوروبية مجاورة؟
Well, as you know, the European Union has decided that all Ukrainian people would be automatically entitled to a special status of protection within the European Union. That means in practice that all people coming from Ukraine do not necessarily have to file an asylum application. So all those people can actually find a safe haven in European member states. And I need to stress and to make very clear that all refugees, without any discrimination based on race, gender, or religion, are welcome in the EU. We need to protect civilians, and we do not make any distinction between civilians of black or white color. Everybody is welcome, and right now the priority is to protect families, innocent people, with women and children first.
نعم سامويل، يعني نعلم أن دخول أوكرانيا إلى الاتحاد الأوروبي طبعا ستكون له ردة فعل قوية، وهو بحد ذاته، هذه الخطوة بحد ذاتها ستكون ردة فعل قوية جدا على روسيا. هل الاتحاد الأوروبي اليوم يتريث نوعا ما لضم أوكرانيا إلى الاتحاد الأوروبي تحسبا أو تجنبا لردة فعل غير محسوبة أو قد تكون جنونية من قبل الروس؟
We need to make clear that we cannot let Putin just attack innocent people in Ukraine without any response. We have made clear that we would not send any NATO troops on the ground in Ukraine. However, we have made very clear that we would deliver all humanitarian help that is needed by Ukrainian people. And also, we will enforce Article 51 of the UN Charter on the principle of collective self-defense. Ukraine has a right to self-defense against the Russian invasion, against the illegitimate Russian attacks. And so I think in that framework that it is completely legitimate that European member states indeed provide also weapons to the armed forces of Ukraine.
سامويل، هل تعتقد اليوم أن العقوبات والعقوبات قاسية جدا التي تم فرضها مؤخرا، هل تعتقد أن العقوبات التي تم فرضها كافية اليوم لردع روسيا أم لا؟
Well, I think that those sanctions are completely unprecedented in history. We have been targeting all essential sectors of the Russian economy to make very clear to Vladimir Putin that his actions against international law have a cost, have an economical cost. That needed to be done, that needed to be very clearly done. I am very proud of the very strong and united response in bringing those sanctions together with all EU member states, but also partners like the United States, Canada, New Zealand, even Monaco and Switzerland have also imposed those sanctions. So I think that things are very clear now. And I want to stress and underline that we do not want to target the Russian people. We do not want to target the Russian civilians. What we want to target is the regime, the autocratic regime of Vladimir Putin that is undemocratic. I stand in solidarity with all the Russian people that have been extremely courageous and bold enough to go and demonstrate in the streets. I think those protests from Russian people against the war in Ukraine really tell us a lot about courage, about the courage of Russian people. And my hope is really that in the days to come, we may see a change in the policies of the Russian government, because that is really what we need to see to change. We need to stop the attack and to impose a ceasefire to save lives, to save and protect innocent civilian families.
سامويل، يمكن القول اليوم أن أوكرانيا تحارب ربما نيابة عن أوروبا. هل تعتقد أن على العالم أن يهتم فعلا، أو لماذا على العالم أن يهتم بما يجري في أوكرانيا لا سيما من الناحية الاستراتيجية؟
We need to care about what is happening in Ukraine because this is a blatant attack not only against democracy in Ukraine, but also against international law. We cannot allow any single leader in the world to change completely unilaterally, because it pleases him to do so, to change the borders of a state, of any state in the world. Just imagine that, some leader in Europe or Russia or the United States would decide to change and modify completely unilaterally by military force the borders of an Arab state. That would be completely illegitimate. So what we need to do now is uphold international law, uphold the principles of non-aggression, the principle of peace, of non-use of force of the UN Charter, uphold international humanitarian law and human rights.
سؤال قد يكون بسيطا نوعا ما، بشكل بسيط ومبسط لمن يتابع هذه المقابلة، برأيك ماذا يريد فلاديمير بوتين في أوكرانيا أو من أوكرانيا؟
Well, clearly what frightens Putin is not so much the military force or risk coming from Ukraine. What frightens Putin and his project of expansion and imperialism in Russia is the very idea that Ukraine people defend their democracy, their independence, their values of human rights, of freedoms. That is actually what is frightening and what is risky for the project and for the regime of Vladimir Putin. And so that is why I think that as Europeans, we need to stand by the Ukrainian people and defend those values of democracy. This is a matter of saving innocent civilian lives. Nobody provoked this war in Ukraine or in Europe. Nobody in Europe wants war with Putin. Nobody wants war with Russian people. We love peace. We have been a peace-loving continent for decades now, and we want to protect this very value of democracy. And so please stop, impose a ceasefire and stop civilian casualties.
سامويل، سؤالي الأخير، ماذا لو ربح فلاديمير بوتين الحرب في أوكرانيا؟ ما النتيجة التي سنكون أمامها فعلا؟
Well, I don't think that Putin will ever win this war. Putin clearly can impose a lot of death. Putin can destroy civilian buildings, hospitals, kill babies, kill mothers. But what he will not be able to kill is the aspiration of the Ukrainian people and more broadly of Europe to democracy, peace and freedoms.
سامويل كوغولاتي، النائب في البرلمان البلجيكي، شكرا جزيلا لك على هذه المقابلة.